Are you having problems in the bedroom? Are you having problems with your sex life? Well, I know just who to talk to, and that's Lori. CoachingByLori.com is where you could set up voice, video, or text sessions to talk about sex, to talk about intimacy, kinks, fetishes, taboos, fantasies, or your sexuality. You could talk about coming out and what to expect when you come out. Lori is a sex therapist and talks about your sexual health. Lori's offering all new clients 20% off their first session with the coupon code WELCOME. That's coaching by Lori, LORIE.com. Coupon code WELCOME, WELCOME, for 20% off your first session. Ladies and gentlemen, Suds and Squirts Social Media is an official affiliate of the WWE Shop. Whether you want merchandise from the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, or the Hall of Famers, the New World Order, or from WrestleMania itself, scan the QR code on the screen or go to suds-media.com/wrestling merch, and it gives us a commission to help our show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dockside at the Bay. My name is Vinnie. This is Kim, as always. Kim, how are you?
Doing all right, Vinny. Doing all right. I don't know, trying to just realize that it's practically the end of January and this month has flown by and it's kind of freaking me out a little bit. So,
Yeah, trust me, it really is. But today is, as we're recording, is Tuesday, the 28th of January. Uh, this will be this will be released on Patreon first by either tonight or tomorrow. But it'll be hitting the RSS and the YouTube feeds on Thursday. Um, and if you want to help us out, become a patron. Go to patreon.com, so Suds and Square Circle. You get all of our stuff early and ad free that's pre recorded. That includes Dockside at the Bay, Angela Answers Fan Mail, and Take Me Down to Studio City. Um, and then anything else we decide to promote, you get it early and ad free. We are working on a couple of different items in terms of special events, special interviews. So we will definitely keep you posted on that. We are looking to do with the start of Beyond the Gates coming up later next month. We are looking to do a reaction show for the first week. I'm not sure when that will air or when we will do it, but we are looking to do that. That'll more likely be Kim, Angela, and I. So it'll be the four of us. If you watched Suds News last night, David from Take Two Radio joined us, and that was good to hear his reaction to General Hospital because Take Two Radio has been off the air for a month now because Blog Talk Radio is no longer a thing. But they do have stuff in the works, so they'll be back soon enough. As always, I do want to go ahead and let everybody know that we are an official affiliate of WWE Shop. Go over to go to suds-media.com/wrestling merch. That has um, our affiliate link in that URL, and anything you buy using that does give us um, commission, and it does help to support the show. Also, Lori, who is a relationship, sex, and life coach, coachingbylori.com. That's LORIE, another advertiser here. Use the promo code WELCOME, WELCOME, for 20% off your first session. Those are our two ways of helping the show. But the other way to do it is to go to buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media. We are doing something right now to just not sure if I announced it on this show or not, but if you do pay attention to Suds News, Angela and I are going to meet Laura Wright, Finola Hughes, and Charles Measure in April. And we are presenting Laura Wright with a Lifetime Achievement Championship belt. And to help offset the cost of that, we are collecting donations, of course, from buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media. And whatever you do donate, it will help out. And if you do donate, your name will go on the card that we present to her as well. So she sees her loyal fan base that are also Suds Media fans and followers. So again, it's buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media, helping out with the Lifetime Achievement Championship belt for Laura Wright. Okay. So Kim, how was your week?
Well, I will say I'm still kind of in mourning for the Buffalo Bills season coming to a close. So, along with pretty much, I'm guessing the entire city of Buffalo. So, aside from that, things have been
That's
pretty
right. We're
good.
getting a rematch in the Super Bowl, aren't we? Philadelphia and Kansas City.
Yeah, yeah, and I will. Well, I will be pulling for Philadelphia. So,
You'll be pulling for who? For who?
for Philly, yeah.
Philly. I don't care either way, but
I
I'll probably be going for
mean,
Philly as well.
I don't know. At this point, I'm pretty, resigned to it's going to be what it's going to be. I usually, tap out when the bills are done, but I don't know, I was really hoping this year, but wasn't meant to be. There's always next year, and that's what I've been saying since I was 12. So,
Well, I don't know if you're old enough to remember when the Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and lost all 4 years.
I mean, my parents were there for what my mom calls the glory days, but also the depressing days. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it was the 49ers, the Giants, and then Cowboys twice.
And
Um,
my father was at one of the games,
oh,
um,
wow.
which I think they were playing in Anaheim. I know they're playing out in California.
Hmm.
And he said the only highlight of being there after the loss was that he was in California in warm weather in February. And that was
Yeah.
the only highlight. That was the only positive. So
Um, just speaking of warm weather in California, just an update: the wildfires in California are under control. They are
yeah,
contained,
that's what I heard as well.
and there are short little things popping up, but they have it pretty much contained.
Yeah. I
And
heard like 94, 95% in some areas, which is just that's huge. That's amazing. Thank God.
exactly. And they are now finally bringing water in from the Pacific Ocean to kill the rest of them. So
Hmm.
a lot of the National Guard was deployed out there in order to do so.
Yeah.
So thank you for all your prayers and all your donations to the American Red Cross or any of
Hmm.
the. I know that Jacqueline Grace Lopez shared a lot of the animal adoption agencies, pet adoption services that are collecting donations as well, just to help out. So
Yeah.
we can pull together when we have to. Unfortunately, there weren't many human fatalities, but there were a lot of loss of, you know, items, homes. Cameron
Yeah.
Matheson lost his home. Eric Braden lost his home.
Hmm.
Um, a number of different people lost their homes.
Yeah. Just absolutely devastating in that sense for sure. Just of
Yeah.
but
So
containment is good, and at least we're seeing that, and rebuilding, and hopefully just coming together and in that spirit, just to try and help people out and help people get back on their
exactly.
feet.
So, but either way, um, we are here to talk about the season finale of season 4 of The Bay,
Yep.
which is the Emmy Award-winning web series directed by Gregory J. Martin, and we're going to be talking about that. It's episode 10 of season 4, which is season finale. Very short season, um, and but definitely action packed.
Oh yes. Definitely.
Um, and I have to say that it had a lot of. I don't want to say it necessarily had twists and turns. The only thing I have to question, and it's just a small part, is what is up with Tobin? Why is Tobin not taking Liana's case? Like I don't get it. I don't
I
understand his
Yeah.
coldness towards her.
That kind of surprised me too. I had forgotten that detail, and for him to just kind of rebuff both, like every chance, everyone coming up and asking him like, can you just take this, Riley, and then even Nardo having to like go in and just even say like, this is my grand, like it was very surprising. It was a weird take
Yeah,
from him, and I kind of
but
forgot the reasoning behind it, or if there's like a motivation behind it. It was such like a lame, like, well, I've got a heavy caseload and you can't afford me, and rah, rah, rah. It's like, come on,
yeah,
man, what are you doing? So I'd kind of forgotten that little detail, and it was just, it was definitely noticeable though, and it feels slightly out of character for him,
yeah.
just but yeah, no, it was kind of an odd little detail that I'd kind of
It
forgotten
was,
about.
and it caught me off guard because, and it wasn't even the fact that he denied helping her. It was more along the lines of his tone and how cold he seemed, just dismissive. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't
And
have time to.
for even for Nardo to remind him, like, I'm the reason why Sara, managed to get off in her case. So why
Yeah,
can't you like return the? It's like, yeah, valid point. It's like keep that in perspective there.
exactly.
Before you just outright dismiss and say I can't help. It was just, yeah, odd tone, odd kind of take, and I'd kind of forgotten about it until it aired, and then I was just like, yeah, that's a surprising detail from him, a surprising nuance from him.
I um I feel so bad for Lianna. Like she's
Oh my god.
um
The scene
just
where
a,
she breaks down with when she actually is like, talking with the therapist, and even like kind of just, oh my god, just absolutely devastating when she starts kind of even like repeating herself, just saying like over and over that, well, if I hadn't, if I'd been on the meds, then I wouldn't have, shut. And just, it just absolutely gut-wrenching scenes from her.
yeah,
Just everything that she's gone through is just, oof. That character cannot, find happiness at all. She's destined to not be happy, apparently, and it's just very,
exactly.
yeah.
I can't remember because I know that she said that the only person that she told that she was off her meds was Damien.
Hmm.
I can't remember how
I kind of lost track of that too.
Colin figured that out, or her, because
Yeah, I kind
I
of lost
can't.
track of that myself.
Yeah, I can't remember. Did Colin overhear it? Possibly.
He might
Um,
have, like, it could have maybe come up, like, maybe like, they were at like, I'm thinking at like the diner or something like that, maybe like he overheard, or was it even trying to, could it have been the anti Mickey's sister?
yeah, could be.
I feel like it's somehow tied back to the diner, to the restaurant.
I think that's what it was
But even so, yeah, it was a little
because
bit,
Mickey overheard
yeah,
her telling Damien that she
right,
was off her meds, and
right,
then yes, okay, that all right, that's
yeah.
what it was.
It was a little fuzzy, but yeah, I mean, because she was the only other one that really kind of had like a weird axe to grind,
Yeah,
so, or that
um,
I can think of anyway.
which I still don't understand what that axis to grind.
I don't really either. Kind of strange, kind of an odd sort of, it's between that and like her, wanting to buy the book on Sara. I mean, her wanting to like take Sara down
Yeah,
also a little bit. It's like, she's just, well, she's the anti Mickey. So,
yes, no, you're exactly right. Definitely the
yeah.
um,
But you feel for even Damien when after, and just to stay on the track with Nardo and Lianna. I mean,
mhm,
Nardo is so sweet. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. I want him to be my grandpa. Just, just like, no, we're gonna go out on a boat and we're gonna go and like, grill some fish, and we're gonna like watch the sunset, and we're just gonna, try and get past this and work through this. I mean, he is such a good guy. He is so sweet. And then, but for him to go from like that, like cute little, like fun, like I had a vision.
yeah,
I have a vision of us out, doing all of this. And as abuelo, you need to listen to that. For him to like, just turn around on a dime though and be all like extra protective the second he sees Damien. And poor
yep,
Damien just looked like completely deer in the headlights. Like, wait, what did
oh
I
yeah,
do? I did
yeah,
nothing wrong. But
exactly,
I just love seeing like, Lianna getting that, support, that protection from someone, from anyone. Between
yeah,
that and the therapist, it's like, okay, at least there's people around to help support her, because she clearly needs it.
yeah. Because and I liked how the therapist said, you know, you have to tell me these things if you're off your meds or whatever
Yeah.
the case is. Like you can open up to me. I think the biggest thing with Liana is that she doesn't trust people.
Right.
She does, she's been hurt by numerous people, starting from her father,
Yeah.
and then seeing her father get blown up.
Yeah.
And then, with Pete and Pete with their mother and her mother being rejecting and not a mother figure,
Yeah.
just all this stuff just hitting her left and
And
right.
then losing, or the prospect of losing, like also contributing to the fact that like he is, currently, even though like life support, they've obviously, had, Will off camp. I I can't remember, when did it escalate to life support for him, because he was supposed to like go off for like a procedure at the Cleveland
Yeah,
Clinic, and then he was supposed to, but regardless, just the fact that like, she contributed to his situation, and the fact that he is like, his life's hanging in the balance. I mean, her flat out saying, if he dies, then I'm going to end it too. And it's like, oh, in that moment, I mean, when the therapist just kind of hugs her and reassures her, like, you have me in your corner, I'm here to help you, we're going to get you through this, you're strong. It was just such a powerful scene.
Yeah. And then who was it? Was it the reporter that went to the nurse's station at the
Yes,
hospital?
I think
And
her
she,
name was Caroline. I think
yeah,
because that when the scene with Zoe and I think her name's Dre, Colton's sister,
yeah,
when they referenced a reporter, like reporters that were no good, and they were talking about Nathan, and then they name
yeah,
dropped someone in Caroline, and I'm guessing that's the reporter who was there
yeah,
just like badgering Matthew and the other nurse.
yeah, and trying to get the information about Lianna and how long
Mhm.
she's been off her meds and this and that. And just knowing, I am so happy that we finally have a hospital and soap opera that knows about HIPAA
Right,
uh, and
right.
doesn't doesn't commit HIPAA
You know,
violations all the time.
it's so funny on days because it's like they play the HIPAA card. Like one hand, Kayla's saying to Steve, like, "Oh well, I can't. That's a HIPAA violation." On the other hand, it's like, "Oh, sweetheart, I love you to death, but you've committed several HIPAA violations
Yeah,
in the past. Like they can't make up their mind if they're going to stick by it or if they're going to play that card." But either way, it's just not consistent. So it is nice seeing on the Bay where they're just like flat out, "Nope, we're not doing anything. We're not, you know."
yeah,
I appreciate
exactly.
that.
Um, I liked kind of moving on a little bit. You brought up Nathan. And I
Oh,
really liked how Riley paid those two kids to run over,
I
knock the
did
table
too.
over, pour the drink.
Yep.
Uh,
And
the
now,
drink.
just to correct that kid, is that Colton's younger brother, or is he just a random kid?
I think he was. I can't remember because I recognized him.
I thought maybe it was the same, like the kid that was like running some sort of like kind of
Yeah,
scam, and Colton told
pickpocket
him
or
not
whatever.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I couldn't remember, and the girl I couldn't really place either. I mean,
yeah, neither.
for all we
I
know, they
know
could
we've
just be like
seen them
some
before.
troublesome
I
kids,
just
but
can't place where.
yeah, but either way, I appreciated the fact that like it was continuity from the last time because they had called Riley the annoying woman,
Yeah,
which I thought was funny. Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're the annoying woman, but
exactly.
with the like whole like, oh yeah, we want $100. All you need, I just have 83. We'll take it. It's like that's
Yeah,
so typical kid where it's just like, give us money, we don't care.
yeah. And just to run over and knock over the table or whatever,
Right.
and
And it
then
was so funny just watching the kid like flailing over there and then like the
yeah,
girl trying to do the same thing and just and Nathan and Orchid just like and Orchid freaking out and just
and Nathan's like, "Give me a towel," and George's like, "I don't have a towel. You're at a beach." Like that, that was
just some
hilarious.
it was a good scene. That was fun. Just that comic relief there. Like we
Yeah,
said before, like, Nathan and Orchid, it's like, yeah, we don't like them, but we do like them because there
they're the
is
bumbling villains. They're like
yeah.
they're not the super villains like Steve or whatever, but
No, but they're
they're the
just
ones that are bad guys but are always screwing up.
yes, yes. And just always like the wind gets taken out of their sails every time they try and do, but it was so funny just seeing that. Yeah. That was a good scene because Nathan is just being like full on, and then even Tobin coming over, and then okay, now that we had Tobin coming over, like being all, well, I'm going to sue you for libel. It's like, okay, so you really only like go to the mat for anything involving Sara,
Yeah,
but I guess when it comes to anyone else in town that's kind of dealing with hardship, you're just very, well, you can't afford me.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like what exactly are you working on that's so big that you can't take
yeah,
other clients?
right. But he was fully prepared to be like, I'm going to sue you, up and down if you try and like sell any more of this book and everything like that. Not that that was going to stop Nathan because it didn't. They still show him like, even after that threat, on the beach
Yep.
doing his thing. But again, Tobin, kind of an odd character, that man.
Very, yes. But yeah, it was just very, very strange. But I did like the beach scene. Those are great scenes.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
And there were just some good, little like for all like I mean obviously we don't like Colton, we're not supposed to like him, but at one point he said like, oh, he was checking out a woman's chest and he just said like, oh yeah, it's just like a Tempur-Pedic pillow. I'm
yeah,
like, that's a funny line. Like it's coming from an awful character. It's not great, but that was a funny, and I'm assuming that guy is like his new partner.
yeah,
But
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
but we didn't, yeah, he wasn't.
is it that's what's his face's nephew or
I was trying to
um
think
Eddie
maybe like
Perone's nephew? I think his
Okay. I
name is
was wondering
Pro.
if there was a connection or if he was just a random cop. I couldn't remember.
No, I think it's Eddie's nephew or son. Not
Okay.
I think it is
There's
nephew.
some connection there. Because, yeah, he was like, even, just being, what were you doing going after Lianna? Like, what is your, game with all of this?
Yeah.
And then but, for his, like, fixation on Lianna, it's Colton still clearly fixated on Tamara, too. We saw
Yes.
that in full on,
Yep. Because
taking
we saw
place.
Tamara and Evan who getting closer by the beach, and they're talking, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure everything is okay." And
Yeah, and he was so sweet, even on the airplane and stuff with her, because she was so nervous about getting back. Like, are you excited to be going back home? And she's like, I'm afraid Steve's gonna kill me, and
yeah,
he's just like, I'm not gonna let that happen. You can tell he's just in full on like white knight hero mode, and it's super sweet to see, his just dedication and stuff now to
not to
her.
mention, I don't think Steve was going to kill her. He just released a sex tape, which honestly, that would make any actress's stock rise. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it.
I mean, at this point though, like, but he is capable of like, the
Oh yeah,
violence
he's
too.
definitely capable of
So she
murder.
definitely has. I mean, it's just I would be appreciative knowing that like I got a DA who's also like a strong dude who's gonna like, have my back going back to dealing with a full-on sociopath like, that threatened me and threatened to expose all this stuff about me. But
And I like how Evan told Colin, you may not have a job very soon.
oh yeah, yeah. No, he's straight out like playing that DA card, just being like, and Colton did back down, hearing that. You saw it in his eyes. He kind of like realized, like, oh, I tangled with the wrong,
Yep.
person here. But it was kind of, you kind of not forgot about his connection to Tamra, but for him to go all like, that's my girl, that's my girl. It's like, when was the last time you even interacted with her, bud? Like, it's
Yeah,
been a bit. Like, just
exactly.
shows that he's just, possessive and controlling and still thinks that, they're together when they're not. That it's just like, it's been a while since, the two of you
Hmm.
were even involved. So, but yeah, no, Tamara and Evan, nice couple. I appreciate their
Yes,
scenes. And
I do too.
I appreciate, because I feel like, as we kind of talked about earlier, it's kind of like we got a little bit of a John Blackwell sort of send off.
Hmm.
So, it's nice to see Evan kind of filling those shoes to a degree and just kind of, being the guy in charge, the law, but also like there to help out. And
Yep.
because we did get that little scene that felt very finale-ish for John Blackwell. I can't remember
Yeah.
if he makes any more, future appearances, but if this is like his like, final, he gets to kind of walk off into the sunset with his spy friend back in Ghent,
Yes.
which, that tracks.
Yeah, because they were talking about the guy that was supposed to buy the stuff, buy
Right.
the deeds or leases or whatever from Steve, and
Hugo
oh yeah,
Lambert. Yeah.
yeah, and oh, you got him arrested or thrown in jail for whatever, and it's like, oh damn, okay, and he's like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yep. No, I mean, he just kind of owns that. And he's just like, yeah, my reputation preceded me. And, it's just all like typical, like, hero walking off into the sunset, like, oh, I'm Mr. Mystery, man in black who, just handles stuff. And
Yeah,
why don't you come along with me? We could be international players. I noticed they referenced the title of the episode. And I was just like,
yeah,
oh, or the previous episode. And I was just like, oh,
yeah,
yeah, you're an international player now, John
oh
Blackwell.
yeah.
Go do your thing.
um, well, earlier in the episode, we do get to see Pete and Daniel get home, and poor
Yes.
Vitali, like he
Oh,
comes to
I
open the
know.
door and Daniel just throws the bag at him and says, "Hey, take this to the gatehouse or guest house or whatever."
I
And
know. And then even Daniel was just like, didn't, what did he call him? Like, he said something about him too. He's like, he's like a weird dude or what's
yeah,
up with that guy or something. It's like, poor Vitaly. He's just trying to keep the house together while everyone is off. Like, Sarah's obviously, AWOL
still
and,
missing. Yep.
gone. And like Melody probably hasn't left the bedroom and he's like just trying to hold down the fort. Like, be nice to the guy.
Yeah. But I did like how Pete called. Um, who was it? I think he called Lex, and he said, "Did you
Yes.
know that Steve has a cabin in the woods somewhere?" And he's like, "No. What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, Adam said something, back at the party,
Yeah. Yeah.
saying, oh, Steve's got a cabin.'"
Yeah,
And
there was, I remember from that episode, there had been like the text message that was kind of, they
yeah,
lingered on it, and to have that kind of tie back to, them figuring that it's like bit of, that's a quite a thing to remember considering that party was quite some time ago, but still.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, and then Lex and Pete kind of teaming up, on their
Hmm.
mission to go in, but not before Pete goes to at least see Vivian. So we get
Yeah,
to see Vivian for a hot second,
exactly.
and check
You
in with
know, and
her.
she's just waking up, and he's like, "Go back to sleep." I'm going to find my mother,
Yep.
and
And
he
she just
grabs
has
a
this look
baseball
about her
bat.
like, yeah. And she just has this look about her like, really, dude? You just got home. And now
Yeah,
you're like heading off again. And just like, you got the worry there, but you also just got like the skepticism and just like, come on, man. I'm sitting here looking gorgeous. You haven't seen me in forever. And now you're just, but it's, obviously he has to go and track down Sara, which
yeah.
after an 8-hour flight, I don't know if I'd be a little bit jet lagged and a little bit punchy. I don't know if I'd necessarily, well, he didn't like
It
just pick up
depends.
the
He's
bat to
probably got
go.
the adrenaline flowing through his
I
body
guess
at this
so.
point.
I don't know. Traveling in, especially international travel, I've always found flying exhausting. I'd
Yeah,
be like, I'm just gonna collapse here for a little while, take a quick nap, and then I'll be on my way.
yeah, exactly.
but
But
no room
yeah,
for
we
that.
did. I like that we saw Pete and Lex kind of pull up to the cabin later on.
Yes.
But throughout the episode, we see Sara and Adam, and Adam is still worked over from the last time he got
Yeah.
beat up,
Yeah.
and Sarah's trying to help him, and he's refusing her help, and then she's like,
And Adam got some funny kind of lines, some like little moments. I mean, just his exchange with Sara, like, like I don't know, they just had like kind of a, despite the fact that like he is clearly like gotten the pulp beaten out of him and they're both being
yeah,
held captive. There was a little bit of like snarky kind of fun back and forth between the two of them before, Steve shows up, like, not interested in building a relationship with you in a fucking dungeon. Like that was
yeah,
kind of a funny sort of line. I mean, she's just trying to help him, and he's just like, like I'm not in control, and like that actually was kind of an interesting line too. His being just like, I can't, she's trying to like be like, I'm not going to stop like, caring about you, and no, we're not, not going to let anyone hurt you. And he's like, but I'm not in control and I can't handle that. I mean,
right.
it just shows like a little side of him that we haven't really seen yet. So
And they do talk about how they do talk about how she didn't know that she was pregnant with twins, and
yeah,
she was knocked unconscious, and so I mean,
yeah,
it's going through the backstory, and he's like, "Well, you went to go find Pete," and she's like, "I didn't know I had twins." Like,
yeah, like some weird stuff went down during that
yep,
whole that whole thing, and we're still trying to piece it together as viewers. We don't really know the full scope of it, and she doesn't. Clearly it's like, it's still, obviously that's a thread that they're going to untangle in the following season, but it's just like, in the moment it's like
yep,
everyone's just kind of in the dark about that whole situation. And but I don't know, I kind of appreciated they had kind of a like just the effing dungeon line was kind of funny to me.
yeah,
It's like, we're not
no,
going to
that
build
was
a relationship here, but they
yeah,
obviously weren't able to because Steve decides he's going to walk in with his goons, and he is
mhm,
just full on just, like, they're not getting really properly fed at this point, and like, he just flat out says, yeah, I see you looking totally beaten up and I'm just going to beat you up again.
yeah,
Like, I don't even, this guy's just going to, the whole like, he's left-handed, but he's
yeah,
actually right-handed. That it's just like, oh my god. Like,
yeah. He's like, yeah. Here's the good news is that he beat you up with his left hand. The bad news is
yeah.
this time he's right-handed. So yeah,
Just, yeah, it's like, and then you get like Sara just screaming in the background, and it's just like, oh my god. Like, okay, Steve, you're just in full-on villain mode right now and just being
yeah.
cruel and sadistic.
So here's the thing: we see at the very end when Lex and Pete show up, they find Adam, unconscious. He's not breathing, and they see Sarah's boot with the chain around it.
Right.
Like she had and I noticed she had the chain around her boot at the very beginning. Why didn't you think to take the boot off, like
Yeah, like, I mean,
beforehand?
I get it. Boots can be kind of, I don't know, sometimes they're tough to get off your foot.
Right?
Maybe the chain was like, compounding that, but come on. Like,
Yeah. Like I know it's a soap opera, so you can't apply logic to an illogical thing, but
it
um
did, yeah, that did kind of oh, that's my mom's boot. It's like, okay, you had that kind of escape route prior to,
Right.
just, oh, between that and the car thing, it's like, Sara, you got to get with the program here, girl.
Yeah, and the chain really wasn't wrapped around,
No.
to the point where either A, it was too tight, or B, it was unpenetrable, because you could easily take the chain and take the boot off, and then take the freaking boot out of the chain, and you still have your boot.
Just
Like,
kind of an interesting sort of, but that had to be like, the suspicious, oh my gosh, that's where they've been captive, all this, clue
yeah,
needed to be left behind. But I feel like, there's better ways to go about leaving that clue behind than a boot with a chain that could have easily been like, a way you could have escaped in just, but it's keeping with the car situation from the previous episode. It's like Sarah's just kind of, she must just get flustered and just not really thinking clearly when it comes
yeah,
to
exactly.
escape methods from Steve. So, but yeah, no, just because even like that last shot of like her in the car and stuff with him, and
Hmm.
he's all, I love how like he's reaching over, and she even like blindfolded is still just like, nope, nope, you're not touching me, nope, I can
Yeah,
feel you, like you're not coming near me right now. And then we have even that freaky kind of pendant thing, that little
yeah,
detail at the very end, which obviously that's going to come into play in a bigger way too, but
yeah.
just kind of foreshadowing some stuff. And yeah, you know,
But
it felt very like, finale-ish,
oh yeah,
kind of like,
and of course they pack a punch into the time allotted that they have, because it's less than a half hour, and
mhm,
it's just bam, 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 bam.
right.
Just fantastic. I give ton of props to Gregory Martin,
Oh yeah.
for this show, because it's absolutely fantastic.
Yep. I think I'm trying to think what other stuff we kind of, yeah, we covered the Nathan stuff. Oh, we did get a little Zoe, that Zoe scene with Dre,
That's right.
who
Yeah,
we learned her name. I don't think we learned her name in the last episode, but we
I don't
learned
think
it
so
here.
either.
Yeah, but we did have that moment where they're talking about, Vivian modeling and looking amazing, which yes, she does look amazing. We can attest to that. Um but even like, they find out about the book signing and that whole bit, and Zoe is just all like, you've got to be kidding me, I can't even. And we do find out that like, Dre, just get more solidification that, she and Colton are brother and sister, and he's like a media hungry, being obnoxious, and she can't deal with him. And reporters are making, I think she's a reporter as well, and that like all these other, people are making her look bad and all of this.
Hmm.
So interesting kind of thread to tie into for next season, with
Yeah,
her and with Colton and that whole bit, and with Zoe as well, because we haven't seen Zoe in it's been a hot second since she was on, so it's nice to see her again to close out the for
yeah,
season 4.
yep, exactly. But either way, I mean, it was a great episode. I did like the interplay with Pete and his various scene partners, because
Oh yeah.
Pete and Daniel, Pete and Vivian, Pete and Lex.
Lex just shooting the doorknob off. I
Yeah.
love that. Like,
Oh yeah.
he's like he's like, Pete's like he's armed with his bat, Pete plus bat, he's all set to like go in, and then Lex is just like, nope, we're doing it this way. I'm going
Yeah.
old school with this.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. No, and Daniel too, like the lingering hug in the oh, I know you want
Yeah.
to get back to Vivian, but let's hug it out. But Pete's just like, okay, dude, okay, let's break it up now.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cute as well. Like, I love their interaction is always great, and I know we
Oh
get to
yeah.
see more of it. So, looking forward to that next season as well.
Yeah. And I think that's about it. I don't think we have anything else to cover. I think we went
Yeah,
over.
I think we touched on every detail. Yeah. But like, as you said, jam-packed episode, a lot to, not so much to unpack, but a lot to like, leave us looking forward to next season. Like, it tied up
Yeah.
some loose ends. It, brought in some new stuff, which is exactly what a finale is supposed to do.
Yes.
So
Exactly. Exactly. All right, folks. Well, we've gone over season 4, episode 10, which is the season finale for episode 4. Of course, as always, you can find The Bay on numerous streaming services. You can find it on Peacock up to season 6. You can find it on Amazon Prime, I believe, up to season 7, um, along with The Bay the Beginning. You can find it on Tubi TV up to season 8 and Popstar up to season 8 with season 9 currently streaming on their daily episode. So there's a lot of places to catch it. Um, Personally, I watch it on Peacock, and I'll exhaust Peacock. I'll switch over to something else when I exhaust Peacock.
Yeah, and I watch it on Tubi, which some of the ads get a little bit old, but it carries all the seasons and everything's there as well. So
Yeah, and of course, if you want to get this episode early and ad free, go ahead and sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/Suds and Squirt Circle. It's only $5 a month, and you do get all of our pre-recorded episodes early and ad free. Um, But if you want to wait, you can wait and go to RSS feed wherever you find your favorite podcasts and up on YouTube. And of course, those do have ads in them. So, um, any final thoughts on season 4?
just that, I know that this season kind of we're going to see, some faces are obviously coming back, some faces we're probably going to be, parting ways with. And I don't know, I'm just kind of, it'll be fun kind of seeing, where everything lands. Cause, like I said, I can't exactly remember all the details of season 5. So it'll be fun to dive into it for sure.
Awesome. And we will start that next week with season 5, episode 1, unless we're able to get an interview in the meantime between seasons. I'm not sure, but I will try. Outside of that, we're about done. So, as always, Kim, it's been fantastic. Next week we'll be back, with another episode. But if you want to help support the show, use our WWE shop affiliate link, which is suds-media.com/wrestling merch. We get a commission on anything you buy using that URL, and it does help to support the show. You can become a Patreon. We've given you that link, patreon.com/Suds and Squirt Circle. Buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media, not only to help support the show, but also to help offset the Lifetime Achievement Championship belt that Angela and I will be presenting to Laura Wright in April. So definitely help us out with that. Again, it's buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media. And if you're having problems and you need not a therapist, but a life coach, sex coach, or relationship coach, you can go to coaching by Lori, LORIE.com coachingbylori.com. Use the promo code WELCOME, WELCOME, for 20% off your first session. Well, I can tell a lot of people from Bay City need some therapy. So,
oh yes.
On that note, we will be back next week as we go Dockside at the Bay. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.